he spoke the truth. He spoke the truth. What he was trying to say was that, say what you will about Preem, and notwithstanding my feelings for him, the man was a mirror image of what he projected. The way he showed himself is what he really was. And you got to give a man props who could say something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, nowadays, dudes are so phony. People are so phony that they don't speak the truth unless it's beneficial to them, or they don't speak the truth unless it's just so much phoniness today that nobody's keeping it real. So at least what he said, that to me, that was real, and that's why I put it on my gram, because it was real. And there's a difference between certain people. One thing about Preem is when he says something, he's not gonna get out there. Preem will never get out there and say something that ain't true, or something he don't feel, or something that's not real to him. When we speak, we don't waste our words. We don't mince our words. We don't try to, like me, myself, I don't really care how nobody think about what I say. You're gonna get the truth out of me whether you like it or not. And if it offends somebody, so be it. If it doesn't offend somebody, so be it. We're gonna be as authentic as we can, because that's all we know how to be, is authentic. So I applaud what he said, you know what I'm saying, because he spoke the truth. One thing about Preem, you're gonna get from him exactly what he is.
25 years later, this is as close as these two men have ever come to agreeing on anything. But agreeing on the man isn't the same as agreeing on what he did. There's one night neither side has ever told the same way.
My generation, while we out there hustling, can't nobody come out there and hustle. This ain't these old times. You know what I mean? Done killed this from our block, for them other projects trying to take over our block to hustle, all kinds. You know what I mean? So we beat mad at them projects up, laid them out flat on the floor. You can't come here with that. I remember Preem used to come to the block and try to talk to 50. This is fact. I remember that's when Preem had the old school range and shit, the green shit, 4.6 shit. You know what I mean? The old body shit, though. He came up to the block and shit and tried to talk to 50, but like he tried to put his hand on 50's head. So 50 pushed his hand off, you heard? And put his hand on his head. Oh man, Preem ain't like that.
Look, I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens. I don't like Preem. I don't like Preem and him. But he lived the way he actually projected himself. His lifestyle is consistent.
He was true to it.
He never ratted on nobody. Just like that.
It's May 24th, 2000. Curtis Jackson, the world will come to know him as 50 Cent, is outside his grandmother's former home in South Jamaica, Queens.
So 50 would have been parked about right here.
An assailant approaches and fires 9 shots at close range.
Road shit, fell off the back.
50 is hit in the hand, the hip, the chest, the face. He survives.
Who has more cred than you, living after being shot 9 times?
I don't know what the criteria is off of street credibility.
That's it.
If there's something that creates more merit for you. I looked at that experience as something that was unfortunate that I had to shoot it.
I forget, why did the guy shoot you 9 times? Was it drugs or something?
He was paid to do it.
He was paid to do it?
Yeah.
Who would want to
Why
shoot
were
you?
you targeted?
You're such a good guy.
That's my past.
It was a drug thing?
No,
like a
just-
business thing?
It's karma.
Federal investigators later build a theory around why. The name they keep coming back to is Kenneth McGriff, a Queens kingpin known on the street as Supreme, accused of ordering the hit in retaliation for a song.
You slow motherfuckers, I'ma break it down iller. Supreme was the businessman and Prince was the killer. Remember?
I like the ghetto Quran, if you want to know.
Those are the guys that you would choose not to go against at that point.
And according to those same investigators, McGriff's money and influence are allegedly tied to the label dominating the charts at that exact moment, Murder, Inc.
So, did you know about this beef between 50 Cent and Ja Rule?
Yeah, I became aware of it when I started. It was a big part of the case because, for a variety of reasons, namely that 50 got shot by, since Supreme was had insinuated himself into Murder Inc. Records.
Before he's a name in a federal indictment, Kenneth McGriff is one of the most feared men in Southeast Queens. Through the 1980s, his organization, the Supreme Team, runs a crack distribution network out of the Baisley Park housing projects in Jamaica, Queens, pulling in more than $200,000 a day at its peak.
Some people call it the largest crack house in the city. It's 5 blocks of projects, drugs, and crime.
Being brave, what they call outside, not afraid of anything, and knowing how to handle myself. I had a lot of money, where I can travel. I didn't know what it was to wear the same clothes twice. Anything I thought I wanted.
Was it very dangerous?
It wasn't dangerous for me because I had bodyguards and everything, and I wasn't afraid.
Keep this woman in mind because we will get back to her story. While she had money and power, this also led to destruction of not only her community, but her life.
Nobody bigger than my father. That's another thing I'm gonna say on every time I get in front of a camera and a mic. Right. Is nobody bigger than Kenneth McGriff. Everybody else got to stand on their jacket. Right. Something they done did some bullshit. Something in 5K1 letters that people don't know about. Or I know everything about everybody. All the drug dealers, all the street figures, all the people in the world. I know everything about all of them, bro. So right. My father got a flawless record, bro. Right. So he ain't here to pop his shit, so I'm gonna pop it for him.
First event was this man named Muscles. Muscles used to cook crack for everybody. When crack just came out, when you cook crack, there's oil left. We didn't know about that. So Preem found out it was oil. So Muscles would cook the crack and keep all the oil. It was worth more than the crack. So he was stealing from us for a little while. And Preem sees him. Says, yo, come here. So Preem looked at him, then looked at me. I just laid him out. So my loyalty, was to him.
This isn't a side detail. This is the same Queens that produces 50 Cent, that produces Ja Rule, that produces Irv Gotti himself. McGriff isn't reaching into hip-hop from a distance. He's from the same blocks, the same era, the same world.
It's 9:40 a.m. on this beautiful Grace Tuesday, and I don't know if you've gotten out yet to get your daily newspaper, but in both of the early morning papers, the headline from one says, "The Kitty Corps Crack Bust," and the second headline says, "Boy 10 busted for selling crack. Pal 14 also seized."
The question federal investigators are asking by 2003 is simple. Was Murder Inc. just a record label that happened to know a dangerous man from the neighborhood, or was some of its money quietly running through a much darker channel? No one has ever been convicted for the shooting itself. It remains an accusation, not a proven fact, but it was enough to put McGriff's name, and some connected to him, under a federal microscope. An accusation needs someone capable of it. So before this video asks who pulled the trigger, it has to answer a bigger question first. What kind of world produces a man capable of ordering it? And what kind of world produces the label everyone says he used to do it? 2 empires, same 6 blocks of Queens. Neither one starts with a gun.
Hustlers were always important to me because at the end of the day, they were the only people I sort of had any money. Now, people in the outside world would say that's not really success, but when you're from where we're from, it is success.
Supreme Team was one of the most notorious conglomerates in the country.
Supreme was the boss. Prince would be the underboss.
They both are go-getters. They didn't want to be denied.
These guys were juggernauts, bigger than life.
They lived by a code.
Get cars, get money, get rich.
Jamaica, Queens.
You saw street corner CEOs propping up all over our city.
I was selling 10 to 15 keys a week. We were branching out all over Long Island.
We was actually hip-hop for real, you know what I'm saying?
Crack was the engine that transformed the city.
If Einstein grew up in the projects, he would have been selling drugs.
I've been in jail for 32 years. You look back on your life, you find out what made you become criminal-minded. What happened?
They didn't create the chaos. The chaos was here.
These people were at the right place at the right time for the perfect storm.
You don't want to fight a war forever. The longer you stay in that war, the greater the chance of you getting killed.
His name is Kenneth McGriff. Queens knew him as Supreme, The rapper he is accused of trying to have killed is a kid from South Jamaica named Curtis Jackson. The world knows him as 50 Cent.
Because I was there when crack first formed the name of crack. Remember that. I was the crack cooker. My habit was over $2,000 a day. A day.
Meanwhile, that same money was already reaching somewhere else.
Recently, Florence Simmons shared her life experience, starting with what it took to be a successful drug queen.
Is this how drug dealers function? I mean, this is not just your way of doing things, right?
Sure. If they had any love, how do you think that they can take from their children, not feed them, leave their children and forget? A day to a person that's using drugs, a week is like a day. That's how somebody can go to the store and they can go for a week and come back home and don't realize why somebody's fussing at them because they feel like it's just been some hours. See, when you high off of that drug, you can hear a spider walking. That's how people can accidentally kill someone because you hallucinate. And you have no friends. Now, everybody can get down and say, let's get down and let's get a quarter or half a quarter or something. Everybody's so happy, they're chipping in together and they're smoking. Soon as the drugs go, everybody is suspicious of one another. And it's usually a fight breaks out.
What happened to you that made you give up your habit and your attitude about drugs?
I almost lost my life twice. It had to be the grace of God. I remember that I was going to jump out the window because I was sitting there looking at the birds flying, and the sun was so bright. And I remember something saying, you can fly just like those birds. That's why I can understand how somebody can jump out of a window and think they can fly. I wound up, it was 15 years of drugs, 5 years of alcohol, and all of this, a total of 20 years. All of this was in my life. And it was about going into my 15th year, I started really feeling tired because I wasn't getting high anymore. And I was tired of the things that I was doing. And really, I would come into a thing of in and out of the way I treated my children, you know. And when I'd be able to see for a minute, I'd feel bad, but there wasn't nothing I can do about it. The incident that I remember of my daughter, how she was standing on this blue crate, fixing, she had flour, Aunt Jemima flour and water in a bowl, and then she was making pancakes. She was right next to me. I was right next to her at the other side of the stove, but I was making crack. And only for a second, I realized, and I felt something just for a second. I looked, and everything got bright. I'll never forget that. And I looked, and there she was, standing there. Her brother was just holding on to her. They had become inseparable. Nothing, everything they did together. They went to the bathroom together. They did everything together. You know, she had become his mother.
And she was 5?
5 years old. She had become his mother. Before I go back to drugs again, I asked God to take my life if I would ever. I would really, if I had a problem so bad that I felt like if I picked that drug up, I would kill myself first. Because I know what I went through already, and I can't go through that again.
For the next episode of Thanks for Asking, South Side, Jamaica, Queens. That's all I'm going to say. Our next guest is the notorious Prince. He came to sit on our couch and tell his story. Yo, Detox, start the interview and drop the shit, boy.
Can I get a round of applause, please? Oh. What's up, brother?
Hey, nothing. How the brother, man?
All right.
Good.
All right. Again, it is an honor to have you at this show. We are from Southside.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? This show is from Southside. You are Southside. You know what I'm saying? Like,
appreciate the comment. Appreciate
you know what I'm saying? Deion said something, and he goes, if you can't tell a story without that person don't belong in the Hall of Fame. You can't tell the story of Southside without Prince or Supreme. If that ain't Hall of Fame, I don't know what is.
This is his nephew, Gerald Miller. Queens calls him Prince. He was there from the beginning, and he was never just the boss's shadow. By his own account, he built half the operation himself. His own neighborhood puts him in the same breath as his uncle. You can't tell the story of Southside Jamaica without one or the other.
I started off selling marijuana, first of all. That's the first drug I was selling, and then it graduated from there. And so I had went up north, and matter of fact, no, we went, after we started selling, after I was selling marijuana, me and a friend of mine named Education, we end up going to the 150th Street because I saw my uncle down there with people. My uncle was down there selling on the block with others that was down there.
That was a house. That was like a hub.
Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols was down there, and so him and Preem was selling drugs, for a guy named Time. Me and Education was selling drugs for a guy named. We would be inside the door, or he'll be inside, I'll be outside, and we were selling drugs out there. So we graduated down there because we saw others doing it, and it was lucrative, and we started selling it. We still was educating ourselves and educating others in 5%, being a 5%. I would actually tell other people don't do it, and then I was doing that on the side. The only way we rationalized is that we making money, and we wasn't going to do it for a long time. That was before we actually became what would become known as the Supreme Team. So we were selling drugs for the older crew down there and whatnot. And,
I got you.
And they gave us a shot, and we took advantage of it before we peeled off and started doing our own thing and whatnot.
Like Preem Team was known, were they a known group before that?
It was just loose people doing
Right,
their
got
thing.
you, got you.
You know what I'm saying? Loosely, everybody was doing their thing. The police was crooked. They was letting you do it. It was open season. It was like you can, it was
Sure.
you can do what you want to do. That block on 50th Street was just
like
everybody was
Amsterdam
coming
up
in.
there.
Yeah, it was deep.
42nd Street.
Yeah.
1985.
Uncle goes away. He leaves it to you. What did that feel like to be the leader? To have basically you kind of had like the weight of an entire organization at a Fortune 500 company. How did that feel, and what was your vision? And that had to be a lot.
Well, when Preem went away '85, I ended up going away later on myself, but then I came right back out. But it was. Remember, I had my side of the team, but I was also able to be in control of everything, you know what I'm saying, that was there because he had lieutenants for everything, you know what I'm saying? So what I did, though, was organize it like to the T, like to the T. We had security, we had everything. It was organized to the T. You had people that did bagged up, people that did different things. It was organized to the T, and it got more organized because I was I always liked to study military and study organizations and stuff. So I was on some security-minded, organized stuff. You know what I mean? And we really shaped it into like organized crime in a way. So,
You know what's when you organize like that, right? You probably was thinking at that time you would never get caught.
We always think that. Everybody.
Yeah, but you were so organized, though.
Like,
so
you had it down to a T, man.
Everybody thinks they ain't never gonna get caught.
Yeah.
But most of the people, like Preem always said, we're not in this forever. We're getting up out of here. But he also said, if you can't serve a life sentence, he didn't say, I don't know where they got the 10-year shit from. If you can't do life, get out the way.
1987. While Prince runs the block in his uncle's absence, a 17-year-old DJ from Hollis is about to meet a rapper from Brooklyn who'll change both their lives. To understand the Irv Gotti story, you have to go back before the label, before the hits, before the raid. You have to go back to Queens in 1987 and a 17-year-old DJ named Irving Lorenzo. He is not yet Irv Gotti. He's DJ Irv, a kid from Hollis who lives for music, who learns production on a drum machine, who studies the business of the record industry from the ground floor, while most people his age are still figuring out what they want to do with their lives. That same year, he crosses paths with a young rapper from Marcy Houses in Brooklyn who goes by Jay-Z. They are teenagers. They go to London together on a promotional trip. They become close, closer than business. brothers. So it turns out no one on the internet knew exactly where this throwback picture of Jay-Z was taken.
I was on a Reddit thread where somebody had thrown out, "Where is this?" And then as I scrolled down on the thread, I realized that nobody knew, which is also exciting.
As I'm sure you know, OnPoint Stories recently made a lot of people upset because of the video that exposed Jay-Z's alleged son.
OnPoint Stories. They can't even rap. It is what it is.
Back to the topic on hand. Thanks to the investigative work done by this YouTube channel, they used Google Maps, Street View, and they even teamed up for a few internet collaborations, all to finally put this mystery to rest and answer the question, where was Jay-Z when this picture was taken? It turns out this was 6 Chaplin Road, London.
This is it, number 6 Chaplin Road.
This still leaves one unanswered question. What was Jay-Z doing at 6 Chaplin Road? Same year, back in New York, McGriff's operation hits its ceiling. Federal prosecutors would later put a number on what that operation became at its 1987 peak, more than $200,000 a day. When it finally came down, McGriff pleaded guilty to running a continuing criminal enterprise, 12 years. He served about 7 of them, and the man who came home in the late 1990s did not go back to a corner. By the time McGriff came home seeking legitimacy, Irv Gotti already had it.
Funny story, I ran in, before I was getting ready to leave to go to London, I was looking for KG. I asked him, I was like, yo, man, I'm getting ready to go to London, record this album. You know, everything is taken care of, you know, what's up, you wanna go? He was like, nah, he's like, just, you know, just let me know when you get back. Irv was a great, I mean, he could pitch, and he got himself into a lot of strategic positions based on that, you know. And I mean, he would come with the goods, but he knew how to convey and, you know, articulate to where it would get people excited.
That relationship lasts 30 years. It survives fame. It survives money. It survives the rise of 2 empires built side by side. It does not survive the decision Irv makes in 2002.
That's something I regret. If I could tell young Irv, I would be like, don't do it.
But first, the rise, because you have to understand what they built before you can understand what they lost. By the mid-1990s, Irv is one of the most important people at Def Jam Records nobody has heard of. He is the A&R who sees what others miss. It is 1996. Jay-Z releases Reasonable Doubt. Irv produces the track Can I Live. He is there at the beginning of Jay-Z's recording legacy, not as an observer, as a builder.
It's the setup, it's the resolutions and the releases and the tension. This music got crazy tension. 1 minute you feeling like, ooh, then it lets you go. Then it got you like that again, you know what I mean? That's how the music takes you.
Right. Dead Presidents is money. You know, it was our chase for you know, our chase for the life, and I was our obsession with it because we didn't have it. You know, the reason why guys or rappers are drawn to Scarface and movies like that, because they see themselves as the villain, and you see someone come from nothing and make it for how long, for however brief they make it. You know, that's something that draws you in. So I tell you half the story, the rest you filling in, long as the villain win. You know, it's that mentality.
In return, Jay-Z gives Irv his nickname. He calls him the Don of hip hop. He names him Irv Gotti, after John Gotti, the Teflon Don. The name sticks.
I remember we snapping on Irv, like, his name is Irving, man, get out of here. Irving, and everybody laughing, So you need a name like Irv Gotti, like you gotta toughen you up.
And like everything that Jay does, it's stuck.
Jay-Z, when I first met Jay-Z, it was in 1987, we went to London.
What's that record? And Jay says, gotta consult Irv Gotti, y'all. Heads got to roll.
Yeah.
Gotta consult Irv Gotti, y'all. Heads got to roll.
Jay used to sit in my office literally to wait to talk to Irv. That's how deep that was. You know, again, he's at the heights of unbelievable heights. People may not like to hear that, but if it's true, it's true. You know what I'm saying? And it's not one time, it's multiple times. Yo, is Irv coming? I was like, yo, you understand my office? Go ahead. I'll lock the door, whatever. He's like, nah, it's all good. He just sit there and just be waiting. And Irv, when he come in, they go into. But Irv would help him with all types of business, ideas, thoughts. Everything. He respected Irv's brain. I'll leave it there.
Supreme wanted a piece of that same legitimacy. In 2001, a straight-to-video crime film called Crime Partners was released, with a cast that included Ja Rule, Snoop, and Ice-T. The screenwriter credit on that film reads Kenneth McGriff. For a man serving a federal prison sentence today, that credit is one of the strangest documents in this entire story. A legend of the streets, credited as a Hollywood writer, years before any of the rest of this happened. The label sticks. Murder, Inc. is born in 1999, and it grows into something nobody expects.
Well, first of all, I had success with Jay-Z and DMX. And I didn't sign Jay-Z, but I was a big part of Rockefeller Records when they started. Then I became an A&R director with Def Jam. I signed DMX and Ja Rule. You know, DMX went on to sell 5 million albums with his first album, and then another 4 million albums with his second album. We put out both his albums in the same year, which was groundbreaking. And then I helped Jay-Z with Hard Knock Life album. I produced the Can I Get a Record? And he still went on to sell like 6 million albums. And then Def Jam decided to give me a label deal. So I had to think of a name for my label. And one day I was watching Arts and Entertainment, and they had this special on called, it was Gangsta Week. And with Gangsta Week, they was profiling different gangsters from Al Capone to Lucky Luciano to John Gotti. So one day on Gangsta Week while I was watching, they profiled Murder Incorporated. Murder Incorporated was a group of contract killers, I think started by Albert Anastasia. And it was a group of contract killers who put out hits for the mob. And when I seen it and was looking at it, Murder Inc. came across the screen and they got riddled with bullets. And they was like, they was the hitmen. And in the record business, we all thrive to put out hits. So I thought it was a good, like, play on words and a good thing. Like Murder Inc. put out hits. I'm gonna name my company Murder Inc. and I'm gonna put out hits. So that's exactly how the name got conceived, Murder Inc. Records, because I thought it was a cool thing to borrow from what they was doing back there. They was contract hitmen, that I'm a contracted hitman, you know, and I put out hits, meaning records, hits, not killing anybody, you know. Little did I know I was gonna have to go into court because I made up this name or whatever. But I think I still would have named it because I really love the name.
1999, the label finally has a name. 12 months later, a 24-year-old from South Jamaica is about to give it a much bigger problem.
The Ghetto Quran. How do you feel about that song?
In the Ghetto Quran, when I heard about it, I felt he was doing what a lot of rappers do. He was giving people, you know, they props.
Right.
I know people was like saying that, yo, man, he's saying too much this and that. Shit, I'm the one that he said the killer, right?
Yeah.
And so I should be the one most offended.
That's a fact.
Right?
Were you?
I wasn't offended because I was charged with killing people and I was found not guilty. So why would I be offended if I was found not guilty? So if a person had a perception that I was one way, the courts had a perception that I was another. So I'm not gonna get mad because he was giving some words and giving some props. It doesn't bother me like that. I didn't even think of it like that. You know what I'm saying? Now others may have, but that's not me. And I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but for real, shit, I kind of liked the song. I mean, if you want,
people use that as a spin.
Yeah. First of all, let me say something to you.
Nobody never worried about that.
Nobody.
Look at Southside Hampton. Look at Corey D.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Ain't nobody care about that.
That's a fact.
Ain't nobody. Look. Let me tell you something. That was some spin. I like the Ghetto Quran. If you want to know the truth, it ain't bothered me one bit.
The story behind this story has spent 20 years assuming the record was a declaration of war. Prince, the man actually named in it, says something different. He says he wasn't offended. He says, by his own account, he was once charged with a killing and found not guilty. 3 months after that song leaked, its actual subject was targeted. You already saw how that night looked from the outside in the opening minutes of this video. Here's how it may have looked from everyone standing next to it.
Regular people that may just do promotion, regular people that may book flights. They come in there asking me all these people questions, and these people ain't from the street, and they may not be used to dealing with hip-hop police. So they may feel intimidated or may have some certain amount of fear, you know, and that prevents them from wanting to be around that and do business, because these people, 9 times out of 10, they done went to college, they got their education for accounting, they got their education for marketing, they got their education for doing different aspects of the business. They not used to dealing with all this shit. Some of them is from the hood and still got their education, they still getting their grind on. Well, everybody ain't built like that, so when the feds get involved, that make them not want to do business with people. So that played the major part. Def Jam, you know what I mean, the powers that be, and whatever, the political side of the contracts, you know what I mean, with radio, then with the police questioning people, all these different, with us getting kicked out the office because we young black men, niggas was smoking weed in the office. Ain't gonna be none of that in my office. Say that shit for y'all. Now, I mean, we was doing little shit in the office to add fuel to the fire, where niggas is like, yo, these niggas is really hood. You know what I mean? Niggas, these niggas is really hood. I was about to say something wild, I had to catch myself. But, you know what I mean? Real talk. So that shit, you know what I mean, fucked niggas up a little bit. And it wasn't nothing just about, it had more to do with just 50. You know what I mean? When the cops and the feds is involved. It's like your man on the street catching a case. And your man catching a case, the top dog that's lacing you. Shit gonna slow up, shit gonna get ugly. You know what I mean? And that's the way it was with the music, and I believe that played more than a factor with 50. And I believe because he's an informant, it's like a street nigga that's informant that's allowed to sell drugs, and all the other drug dealers get arrested. You know what I mean? How is he allowed? Just heard some shit on the radio today, him talking about he might drop when the money bag drop, he put money on niggas' head. How can you talk about hiring niggas, you know what I mean, and get away with it and shit? Let Black Child say, nigga, I'm putting money on when the money drop, body's gonna drop, and all that. Them, the hip-hop police, the same niggas y'all just asked me about, you know what I mean, it's gonna be on me. It's a whole nother level. So this shit is really, really, really deep, man. Like, a lot of niggas get away with shit, some niggas don't. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck what people think. That's what it is. So fuck what y'all niggas think. If y'all niggas think 50 has something to do with our shit, you know what I mean? It may play the part, but I think y'all ignorant if y'all don't take in the whole fact of everything.
So 50 would have been parked about right here.
Broke shit.
This is Trinetta Love with City Rhythms, and I am here with 50 Cent. What's going on?
What up? Everything good.
Everything's good?
Everything's good.
Well, what's going on with you? What's happening? What do you have out right now?
I got a new single out called How to Rob.
What you probably don't know is who came to see him.
50, you know, when he got shot, he didn't want nobody to really see him like that. I know he didn't want none of his own people to see him. You know, E-Money, it sounds believable because E-Money was 50 right-hand man. And
oh, so they were super close like that?
Yeah, E-Money and 50,
okay.
yeah. E-Money Bags used to be in the studio, all that.
Right, because there was a story, an alleged story over E-Money Bags and 50 Cent sticking up a dice game. That's floating out there.
You never know. You never know. I don't want to say too much.
Right.
I don't want to say too much. Let's stop talking about 50. I don't need him mad at me and flipping on me next.
Sit with that. According to Prodigy's own memoir, he and E-Money Bags went to that hospital together, and Tony, 50's day one, just told you why it's believable. E-Money Bags wasn't a bystander to the 50 Cent story. He was inside it, which makes what happens over the next 14 months one of the coldest collision courses ever documented in a federal courtroom. Because the man E-Money Bags was about to go to war with is the same man the government believed had a problem with 50 Cent. 50's own account of that night, in his words.
Rapper says something you don't like, you hit him over that. You know what you're going to do? You're going to write a rap about it.
Who has more cred than you, living after being shot 9 fucking times?
I don't know what the criteria is off of street credibility. Or
That's
if there's something that creates more merit for you. I looked at that experience as something that was unfortunate that I had to, because
I forget, why did the guy shoot you 9 times? Was it drugs or something?
He was paid to do it.
He was paid to do it?
Yeah.
Who would want to shoot you?
Why were you targeted?
You're such a good guy.
It's my past.
It was a drug thing?
No,
like a
just
business thing?
It's karma.
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 Explain to me again why this guy was hired to shoot you 9 times.
Well, you was paid because someone, felt like that I would potentially do something to them if they kept going in the direction that they were going.
Man, you are tough. Motherfucker.
What are you talking about?
The fact that somebody put out a hit on him because he was going to f somebody up? What kind of shit is that? That's crazy.
But what
stuff.
is this all over?
I don't know.
It's difficult to explain, Robin, because when you're not actually in the environment or involved in this
Just
type of
You
explain
can explain it to
Explain
me.
it. We'll see if we can follow it.
Nah, man, it's just,
What happened? What had you?
It's
what,
so tough.
You were pissed off at someone and you were going after them. What were you pissed off about?
Nah, we was just having differences.
Oh, like over what? A woman?
Nah,
no
just
way.
going back and forth. Like a guy got robbed in the actual neighborhood.
And he accused you of robbing him.
He just seen me communicating with someone who actually
robbed him.
And he misinterpreted the conversation because he seen me laughing and us talking, but he didn't know I grew up with the guy.
You're talking to a guy who you don't even know fucked up this other guy.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they think you're in cahoots with this guy.
Yeah, because you see you laughing and talking, they figure you laughing and talking about them.
Pain-wise, how bad is it to get shot in the face? Like, I mean...
Probably... I don't know how to describe that outside of...
Is it a 10 on the pain scale?
It's not really like... Because it's not as painful as having to visit the dentist repeatedly for root canal.
Really? Do you think you're dead at that point when you take 9 bullets? Do you go, oh, this is it, I'm checking out?
Well, it's a life-threatening situation. It's just not... I've seen people going to the hospital under circumstances that were way less intense and not come out.
Yeah, it's a miracle you live.
Yeah.
Did you think you were like Jesus had saved you or something? Like, did you have a
where
religious?
were all these bullets?
Well, yeah, you have those moments where you get a little closer connection to your higher power because you kind of don't have an answer.
But where
to
were all
why.
these bullets? Because if you're shot 9 times and you live, it probably didn't hit anything important.
Meanwhile, how lame is this guy who fucking shot you?
Everything's important, Robin.
Yeah.
Everything's important.
But 50, how lame is this?
Let me shoot you in one of your unimportant areas, Robin.
Yeah, right. What's an unimportant area? You're right.
What the?
Oh yeah, he shot you in unimportant areas. Do you,
I'm talking medically.
But it's amazing your face isn't scarred from getting shot in the face, right?
I got the little dimple.
Oh, is that what it's from?
Inside, yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Everyone around this shooting mostly agrees on a few things. 9 bullets, 1 survivor, no conviction. Keep that in mind because the comments always say 50 was shot less than 9 times. However, what they don't agree on is the motive, and the version that's about to complicate everything doesn't come from a prosecutor. It comes from the family.
I'm sure you had like people coming up to you like asking you about what was going on in the street between Murder Inc. and the G-Unit thing, my pops and 50. Like, what was some of those conversations about, like when they was coming up to you in there when everything was in the thick of everything?
Cream actually told Irv to bring 50 in, man. And I know this because he told me. And he should have signed him, not to shelf him, but shine him to elevate his career and elevate his own self.
In Queens.
Me personally, I would have definitely signed him. We so busy going against each other, man. And that's why we still got people ready to beef on airplanes and shit. Shit is dumb, man. Crazy. But nowadays, that's what people want to see, the conflict.
That claim has never been tested against anyone outside their family.
50 is...
Go ahead, finish.
50 names comes up every time we talk about Supreme because they had like this...
Yeah.
They were their like, you know what I'm saying, arch nemesis, rivals or whatever. All right, so how old are you now?
28.
So what age were you when you first started hearing about 50 Cent?
You were born in 95?
Yeah.
50 blows up in
03.
2022. Or 2002, sorry. Yeah, 03, that time period.
8 years old. And I was a fan. Like, how can you not be... Like, I'm not a liar. I'm not going to get on nobody's camera or nobody's screen and lie. Like, he was the biggest... I'm from Queens. I'm from New York. He's the biggest thing moving. Like, I was a fan. Like, I had... But remember I told y'all I found out about who my dad was when I was like 12, 11, 12, 13?
So you were a 50 fan for a while before you
That's
even
what
figured
I was
out.
about to say. Like, yo, I had posters of this guy. Like, I knew every word to every song. Like, my mother used to buy me the G-Unit sneakers. Was wearing the do-rags. Like, that was like... He was the person. I was a fan.
You didn't have the wife beaters with the striped
I had
colored
all that.
sleeves.
I had all that.
No,
The G-Unit tank tops.
The
G-Unit tank top. I had all that.
I had the shoes. I never had the tank top.
Like, I'm telling you, like, I had his poster, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and then, like, could you imagine, like, me going through that shell shock? Like, me finding out my dad is, like, his arch. I'm like, yo.
So how did you find out? Like, what's the day like? I was like, all right, I can't with 50 no more because of.
You said, how did I find out? What made me feel that way?
What made you feel like you can't be a fan, or how did you even find out?
Yeah, how did you find out?
How did I find out about their situation? I'm like,
through the music, right?
Through the people in the neighborhood, like people telling me, people put me on, like.
Because if you keep listening to 50 Cent, you go back to his older stuff, you're gonna start like actually hearing tales and like hearing your dad's name.
That's a fact. I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm not a fan anymore. Like, I mean, his music ain't good now, but like like a couple years ago, like maybe 2016, 2000. I don't have a problem with listening. I know how to separate the person from the art form. Right. His music, he went diamond twice. Like he doesn't make bad music. You feel me? But I'm a fan of his music. I don't have to be a fan of him. I'm not saying I hate him either, because a lot of people always be like, "Yo, you hate 50? That's your op." I can't. I'm 28. He's 40 something years old. How can that be my op? That's not my op. Him and my dad is him and my dad. That's not my op.
What do you understand from Supreme and 50 Cent's initial beef and how it initially even started? What do you hear?
Well, I just feel like, from my knowledge and what I know, I feel like 50 was just mad that my dad didn't want to take on him as an artist. Like, why are you dealing with Murder Inc. and Ja Rule and them, and you could be, I'm from your neighborhood. Like, sign me, get me signed, mess with me. And my dad was with them. My dad's loyal, so he's gonna be with the people. He's gonna stay with the people he always been with. So I guess 50 was like, you know what? I'm gonna show you that I'm better than them, and I'm gonna murder them too while I'm doing it. I want to prove to you, like, you should have been dealing with me the whole time. So it was kind of like he idolized, or he looked up to my dad, and he didn't really like that my dad didn't want to like embrace him. Like, come, let me stamp you. Like he stamped Ja Rule and he stamped Murder Inc. I think 50 wanted that too.
It's crazy because that story is almost exactly the same as Gucci and BMF, where Gucci, like, BMF wouldn't fuck with him because he's a robber and he was like too crazy or whatever. So then Gucci basically says like, all right, fuck y'all, and does his own thing. And then they tried to kill him, which is also something I wanted to bring up, is that allegedly at one point your dad dropped that bag on 52, which must have been kind of weird for you as a kid to even figure out, like, oh, my dad is like allegedly capable of such things.
But that's why you use the word allegedly.
Right.
So it's not.
We can never really prove it, but
I mean, I feel like I don't really base anything that I do of gossip or like chirps about something. Like where does it say that he was the one that did it? I don't even think that's like a thing. I think people just came up with that own conclusion on their own.
I mean, if you watch 50 Cent movie, it just seems like your dad was majestic.
That's all subjective though. You feel me? That's all subjective. Like, it's not proven.
But do you really think your dad wouldn't be capable of putting money on somebody's head? Because to me, it seems pretty obvious that was the kind of thing that he probably did do at times.
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so.
I feel like if you're that deep in the drug game at a certain point, like if I was going to become a guy who's buying and distributing kilos of cocaine, at a certain point, if somebody robs you, you got to be ready to kill him. Or pay somebody else to kill him.
But I feel like it's some people that was in that life that's more diplomatic than others. Right. So I feel like if you know how to carry yourself and you know how to talk to people, and people just respect you off, you know, how you carry yourself, you might not need to push the button on them.
But I feel like nothing gets respect like violence. Like if you're gonna be in that world where violence is how things are resolved, at a certain point, you don't become King Von unless you make it clear that you're down to do some fucking drills.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But so if you was in the streets, you think you would drop a bag on somebody?
For sure.
I think most street people probably do shit like that, right?
Or they do it themselves. They only don't do it themselves when they get too famous to do it.
I don't think I would agree with that.
But the more we learn about rappers, whether it's Boosie or Youngboy or whoever, at a certain point, you start realizing, like, oh, once dudes get big enough, if they're really in the street shit, they start dropping bags on people.
Let me ask you this. What about if you know how they say your reputation precedes you?
Yeah.
So what if people think that you do that, and then they'll like start that domino effect, and now people are even scared to even test you because they think that you would do that?
Then all the better. If I'm a gangster,
you get what I'm saying?
And people are saying that I dropped the bag on somebody, I'm gonna let them say it no matter what, even if it's not true, because that shit is just gonna make you more feared and respected, right?
And that might have been his case. People might have just respect. First of all, he did his time, because this is not his first bid that he did. He been, you know, he did bids before. So if they like, okay, this guy, he did his time, he never told on nobody, and he's like maybe have the capabilities of doing that, let's not even fuck with this guy.
Right.
I think 50 was probably like the only person that even attempted to like go against or like speak out or like say any ill things towards him.
Right.
I never heard that because people loved him and they respected him. Like he was doing basketball tournaments in the neighborhood. He was giving families money. He was a generous person. So I feel like that's when Nori be like, is it better to be loved or respected or something like that? Like, I feel like it's better to be respected.
And people forget, though, but the main thing that people would hate on 54 when he first came out was because of songs like Ghetto Quran that basically took all this old-ass street shit and put it into the music and told stories about your pops and whoever else, and people would call him a snitch for that, and 50's response was always, there are books out there that have all this information in it, so you can't say that I'm a snitch when all this shit is publicly available, which is another conversation we still see playing out all the time, where somebody like Jay Maine will come on here and say, I saw Tay Savage shoot at so-and-so, and then people call him a snitch, and then he says, well, look at this YouTube video and this YouTube video that have 300,000 views that have the same exact shit that I just talked about.
But just because it's already out there don't mean you got to say it either.
True.
If it's already out there, why do you have to say it? People already know. So I feel like if you add fuel to the fire, you just as guilty.
Right.
That's the fine line between snitching, dry snitching, and just shutting the fuck up.
So you do feel like Ghetto Quran was dry snitching?
I didn't say that.
No, I'm asking.
Me personally, no. But the people who was in the song, they don't want to be talked about. They not entertainers. They street people. So you saying their names in songs, like, what if they still active? Or what if they trying to change their life? What if they in church now? What if they like... But when he was doing it like as like paying homage, I feel like. But if somebody told you they don't want their name in the song, and you know they don't want their name in the song, just respect it. Don't put their name in the song. But I feel like he just was like, yo, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and still did it.
And the difference between him and like an author is that very few gang members are gonna go shoot a guy who wrote a book about their crew or whatever. Yeah. But if you're a participant, if you were a guy who was around when we were coming up and now you're a famous rapper or whatever, being a rapper, you're still basically like in the streets because you're surrounded by the street shit no matter what. So you can understand why him putting in the song to them is way different than a book because realistically, like less than 1% of the people who listen to that song are ever going to read that book.
Even his own son won't rule it out. That's not a confession. But there's a case in the same file where the record doesn't need one, because this one prosecutors could actually prove. Because before he was a name in a federal case, he was somebody's favorite rapper. He was somebody's father 8 times over. And according to the people who knew them both, he was 50 Cent's friend. Hold that thought. It matters more than you think.
Hold and line on right there for hip hop to see. Just eat money bags talking, you heard? Alright. I'm me. This name comes from the grip before we even got the rap. God bless the dead, the stretch, rest in peace. Live Squad. Bring it back to the Tupac era, you know what I mean? You go back through the history, the shout outs of my name from there. Then bring it up to the Foxy and Nas, to the P, to the Nori. Shout out to Nori, to the real rappers from Queens, you know what I'm saying? P, we here, we holding this down. This Queens right here.
Eric Smith, born November 19th, 1969, in Brooklyn, came up in the same circles as a young Tupac. By 1999, he had released one album featuring collaborations with Queens legends who would later become worldwide names. He wasn't a superstar, but something rarer, a man the streets of Queens truly respected, and no one stood behind him more than Prodigy.
So I'm chilling with my man E-Money Bags, rest in peace. Right? I know Bags from my man Shamik from Left Rack. Me and Shamik grew up together since we was like this. We went to elementary school together. And Hempstead, Long Island. Me and Shamik moved to Left Rack around the same time. You know what I'm saying? And so what, Chappelle? Huh? Chappelle, what that? Oh, I thought those dudes I know. Nah, Shamik. You know what I'm saying? Me and Shamik moved left at the same time. And, you know, Shamik doing his thing, doing my thing. And we bumped into each other. We didn't even know we was both moving left, right? I bumped into him walking down the block. I'm like, what the fuck you doing out here? He's like, I just moved out here. So I just moved out here. He's like, oh, shit. What up, son? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, son. We both moved to left, right. He's like, oh, shit. So that's my nigga. So, down the line, Shamik started bringing E-Money Bags to Queensbridge. So that's how I met Bags. You know what I'm saying? The Bags, they started hanging out with Nas and all that. So that's how I met Bags. Bags like, yo, what up? P, you the God, P. P, you the God, P. Niggas can't fuck with you, P. He used to be, that was my nigga, son. He loved Mobb Deep. That nigga loved me, son. That was my nigga. He really was feeling my music, you know what I'm saying? And me as a person, like, he used to always tell me, like, yo, son, you that nigga, son. You know what I'm saying? For real, son. Niggas gotta give it up to you, son. Niggas don't give it up to niggas is bullshitting, son. They lying. So, whatever, you know what I'm saying? That was my nigga. I was real close with that. Well, me and him got real close.
If you know one E-Money Bags story, it's probably the Jay-Z story. Someone affiliated with The Rock showed up on the radio using the name H Money Bags, and Eric took that personally. What happened next took place in real time on Hot 97, and Prodigy was there. Listen to how he tells it, because this is the temperature Eric Smith lived at.
Me and Bags chilling in the studio one day in Long Island. This place called the Music Palace. It was a Friday night, and I went to the store. I just came back, and on the radio it was called Master Flex, and it was Jay-Z, Freeway, Beanie Siegel, and the Young Guns. It was all up there freestyling on Flex Show. And I was listening to it because it was going in. I was like, okay, it's going in. Before I get out the car, let me finish listening to the radio. You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening and shit. All of a sudden I hear Beanie say, I creep on you like a quiet storm. I'm like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this nigga trying to go at us just now. So I'm listening closer now. So now then he had some nigga named H Money Bags up there rapping. All right, H Money Bags. So now I go in the studio. I said, yo, E, come outside real quick. So E come outside. I'm like, let's do this shit. So E like, what he just said? H Money Bags? Man, who the fuck is that? I'm like, yo, son, nigga biting your name, son. He's like, oh, I told you I knew that nigga from high school, son. That nigga know me. He know E-Money Bags. My name was E-Money Bags back then, son. The niggas biting my name, son. I was like, son, you know what? The niggas just tried to diss Mobb Deep just now. He's like, what? I said, come on, let's go inside and call I 97. So we went inside the studio. We called I 97. Somebody picked up. I said, yo, it's Prodigy. On speak to Jay-Z. Yo, P, he just left, man. They just left. They just got in the elevator and just, I said, yo, go get him. He said, all right. They went outside to go get him. Jay-Z came back upstairs. Got on the phone. Yo, what's up, yo? I said, yo, man, somebody want to talk to you. Gave the phone to E. E like, yo, what up, nigga? Like, yo, who this? He said, E-Money Bags, man. What up, nigga? Yeah, oh, what up, yo, what up? Yeah, yo, what up with this? Who the fuck is H Money Bags, son? Who this nigga you down in the come on, nigga, you don't try to play me, son. You know niggas think that's my name, son. That's my shit. That's what I'm running with, nigga. You got somebody with my name, nigga? And him and Bags start arguing. So then Jay-Z said some shit to Bags like, nigga, I don't give a fuck. Whatever, nigga. Whatever. Bags like, whatever? Oh, nigga, so all right, you know what it is when I see you then, right? So then Jay-Z said, yeah, you know what it is. And Bags like, oh, word? All right, cool. Bang, hang up, right? Bang. Burn, son. I'm gonna fire this nigga, son. This nigga playing games with me, son. I'm clapping this nigga. Ah!
That's the reputation. A man who would get the biggest rapper alive on the phone to defend his own name. But here's the part of Eric Smith's story almost nobody tells, and it changes how you hear everything that comes after. In May of 2000, a kid from South Jamaica named Curtis Jackson was shot 9 times outside his grandmother's house and somehow lived. You know him as 50 Cent.
So 50 would have been parked about right here.
Road shit. This is Trinetta Love with City Rhythms, and I am here with 50 Cent. What's going on?
What up? Everything good.
Everything's good?
Everything's good.
Well, what's going on with you? What's happening? What do you have out right now?
I got a new single out called How to Rob.
What you probably don't know is who came to see him.
50, you know, when he got shot, he didn't want nobody to really see him like that. I know he didn't want none of his own people to see him. You know, E-Money, it sounds believable because E-Money was 50 right-hand man. And
oh, so they were super close like that?
Yeah, E-Money and 50.
Okay.
Yeah, E-Money Bags used to be in the studio, all that.
Right, because there was a story, an alleged story over E-Money Bags and 50 Cent sticking up a dice game. That's floating out there.
You never know. You never know. I don't want to say too much.
Right.
I don't want to say too much. I don't need... Let's stop talking about 50. I don't need him mad at me and flipping on me next.
Sit with that. According to Prodigy's own memoir, he and E-Money Bags went to that hospital together, and Tony, 50's day one, just told you why it's believable. E-Money Bags wasn't a bystander to the 50 Cent story. He was inside it. which makes what happens over the next 14 months one of the coldest collision courses ever documented in a federal courtroom, because the man E-Money Bags was about to go to war with is the same man the government believed had a problem with 50 Cent. To understand him, we have to go back to Baisley Park, South Jamaica, Queens, the early 1980s. A teenager named Kenneth McGriff, they called him Supreme, organizes a crew out of the Baisley Park houses. They call themselves the Supreme Team. By 1987, at their peak, federal prosecutors say the operation is clearing more than $200,000 a day. When the hammer falls, McGriff pleads guilty to running a continuing criminal enterprise, takes 12 years, and serves about 7 before walking out on parole in the mid-1990s.
Reporting out of New York City suggests a dangerous drug is making a comeback. Crack sparked a crime wave in America's largest cities in the 80s and 90s and decimated communities across the country, with many black and brown communities hit the hardest.
This reporting is especially alarming given the crack crisis in the 1980s and 90s. It came along with a giant surge in violent crime. That drove unequal treatment of drug users based largely on race, according to the Justice Department, with an explosion in the black and Latino incarceration rates.
The Peace Gods, what has become known as the Supreme Team, was a crew organized in the early 1980s in the vicinity of the Baisley Park houses, a public housing project in Jamaica, Queens, New York, by a group of teenagers who were members of a quasi-religious sect known as the 5 Percenters. The Peace Gods, as they were known for greeting each other with the words "Peace God," evolved into the Supreme Team, becoming a monster crew that dwarfed other drug networks of the era, but they took their cue from the streets. The flashy hustlers of the day set the standard and became role models for the neighborhood, flaunting their alluring lifestyle, which was well beyond the reach of working-class Queens. You see it all in hip-hop, but back then, that was the streets.
And here's where this story stops being a drug story, because the Supreme who came home did not go back to a corner. He went to an office. Hip-hop had turned his neighborhood's legends into lyrics, and Supreme wanted in on the legitimate side. He attached himself to a rising Queens producer named Irv Gotti, and to Gotti's label. The label was called Murder Inc. Supreme produced a straight-to-video film, Crime Partners, based on a Donald Goines novel. Ja Rule, Snoop, and Ice-T are in it, and the screenwriter credit on that film reads Kenneth McGriff.
Preem always got love.
Right.
I've never seen a person where I've never seen him not get like maximum love and respect.
And even if you don't know who Preem is,
he's just a good
he's
nigga.
A good nigga.
He's a good
like,
dude. So
yeah.
boom, it's so boom. He sees Preem. He's like, oh shit, what up, homie? Preem's like, what's up? All cool shit. He comes in. He's smoking a cigar. First verse, he said, oh, y'all niggas ain't on no Hollywood shit, are you? Right. And he was like, nah. You know what I'm saying? And we Enterprise, nah. And he was like,
oh, Enterprise. I loved Enterprise.
Yeah, loved Enterprise. We used to book Enterprise out. But boom, he says, yo, check this out. We start talking. It's me, him, and Rule. He asked Rule a question. This is a true story. Right. I never lie. So whatever I say, that's what gets me in problems, because I never lie, right? So boom, he asked Rule, so where you see yourself in 5 years, homie?
Have you forgotten that once we were brought here, we were robbed of our name, robbed of our language. We lost our religion, our culture, our God. And many of us, by the way we act, we even lost our mind.
Do you agree that anybody can be hit? Kennedy, King, Malcolm X, Caesar. You gotta keep your motherfucking eye on history. Make the motherfuckers feel you.
A drug legend rewriting himself as a talented, legitimate filmmaker, riding shotgun with the hottest label in rap. That was the plan. And then, in early 2000, a song leaked that put the old world and the new world on a collision course. It wasn't a diss record, it was worse. It was a history lesson.
Yo, when you hear talk of the South Side, you hear talk of the team. You niggas spit Prince and respect it, Preem. For all you slow motherfuckers, I'ma break it down illa. See, Preem was the businessman and Prince was the killer.
This song, a young Curtis Jackson, recording for a Columbia album that would get shelved, laying out the legends of South Jamaica by name, Supreme and his nephew Prince in the first verse. The streets called it a violation. 50 has always maintained it was homage, a memorial to the figures he grew up watching. Months after the song leaked came the shooting you already know about. Now, be careful here, because this is where the internet runs ahead of the record. An affidavit available online reportedly stated the shooting was retaliation for that song and that messages on a Murder Inc. registered pager pointed to an ongoing plot against the rapper. Prodigy went further in his book and named Supreme outright. McGriff, for his part, denied ever having a beef with 50 Cent at all. And here is the fact that outranks all of it. No one, not McGriff, not anyone, was ever charged with shooting 50 Cent. Not then, not since. The 50 Cent shooting is a suspicion in a court filing. What happened to E-Money Bags is a conviction, and the road to that conviction starts before the song ever leaked. December 1999, a Supreme Team original, Colbert Johnson, they called him Black Just, dies after a shootout in Queens. It was later stated that Eric Smith was suspected of involvement. Eric Smith was never charged with it, never tried for it, and never got the chance to answer it. But Prodigy heard about that night from Eric himself, and what Eric told him is the closest thing to testimony that exists.
You know what I mean? A couple weeks later, you know what I mean, Bags had beef with Preem, you know what I'm saying? Because Bags was going to buy a car, you know what I'm saying? And Preem was selling it. So he put a down payment on it. And I had did some music with Bags, and I paid him for it because Bags did a beat on the Murder Music soundtrack. So I paid him for it. So Bags like, oh shit, I got this money now. I ain't gonna do the other shit I was about to do. I'm gonna get my money back from that nigga. So he went, well, I need that back. Preem like, nah, you can't get that back. I was like, what? I need that back. And nah, you can't get that back. Oh, okay. Click. Bags seen the nigga behind the Coliseum one day. Seen him sitting in the car, walked up on his car, pulled out, shot his car. Nothing hit Preem. And shit hit Black Just. Black Just was still alive. He got shot in the thigh. You know what I'm saying? And probably somewhere else, I don't know, but the thigh was the bad one. Mary Immaculate is right around the corner. Preem takes Black Just to the hood and tells somebody else to take him to the hospital. Black Just dies from bleeding to death. So now, you know, niggas is after Bags for that. So now Bags telling me like, yo man, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I ain't mean to kill Just, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to kill Preem, you know what I'm saying? It was a mistake. I ain't mean to kill Just, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, he like, the niggas after me. I don't give a fuck though, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. What happened? Well, I'm gonna kill that nigga Preem when I see him, you know what I'm saying? So the nigga telling me all that. Then like, you know, maybe a couple weeks later, Bags got murdered. And I was just with him the day before. We were supposed to do something that day. I got up early in the morning, called him, and the police picked up the phone. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, you'll hear about what happened. I'm like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? So after that, you know what I'm saying? That shit was just like, wow, man. He took my nigga. You know what I mean?
It appears that Prodigy's memory compresses time. First, that account of shots meant for Supreme himself is Prodigy's account, and only Prodigy's. It appears nowhere in the court record. Second, Prodigy says Eric was killed a couple of weeks later. It was 19 months. 19 months, not a couple of weeks. That gap is the whole horror of what this actually was, patient and paid for.
7 played me some beats. I got a call from E-Money Bags, so I went into the hallway to talk to him. When I told Bags that I was at Irv's studio, he said, "Tell that nigga Irv that E-Money Bags said what up. He know me." I told Irv, and his face instantly changed, like he was nervous all of a sudden. What's that about? I wondered. I made a copy of one of 7's beats and bounced back to the Music Palace studio to meet Bars and Hooks, Green Eyes, and Steve Solar. Late that night, Green Eyes said he needed to talk. He complimented me on Infamous Records and told me to stop hanging out with Bags. He didn't tell me why or by who. He just said to stay away because Bags was about to be hit. Bags was hype about getting his Navigator. "Come with me to the dealership in Long Island." he said at the studio one afternoon, just after Green Eyes told me to stop hanging with him. They're giving out good deals for luxury cars. We hopped on the Long Island Expressway and headed to Champion Motors. On the way, Bags broke down the whole story about the connection between Irv Gotti, Ja Rule, and Supreme. Bags told me Irv was a neighborhood DJ at park jams and block parties back in the day, and Irv and Ja were just two studio gangsters. Irv Gotti and Ja Rule, they were the herbs in the hood, and now Supreme's got them under his wing, Bags said. Before I gave Bags money for the song he did for my Murder Music soundtrack, he was planning to buy a tag car from this girl named Z, who went to my grandmother's dance school and sold tag cars for Supreme. Capone from QB bought a white buggy-out Benz from her a few months prior. Bags gave Z $1,000 for a down payment, but when he got the $2,500 from me, he decided he wanted his money back to get a legit car, a Navigator, instead. You gotta take that up with Preem, Z told him, because he told me not to give you anything back. Supreme brushed Bags off like he was a punk. Bags was a member of a Jamaica Queens gang in the late 80s called the Young Guns that had a big brawl with another gang from Jamaica, the Lost Boys, at Sunrise Multiplex. Somebody was shot in the eye and killed inside the theater. Bags was the shooter. He's the reason why that movie theater has metal detectors to this day. Bags told me he was coming out of the Coliseum on Jamaica Avenue one day and saw Preem parked in a Land Rover with a dude named Black Just, another well-known member of the Supreme team, in the Rover's passenger seat. Bags proceeded to shoot up the Rover with bullets, learning later that he missed Preem and shot Black Just in the upper inner thigh. Instead of driving Just to the hospital, Preem drove him 10 minutes away to the hood and told somebody else to take him 10 minutes back so the D's wouldn't question him. Black Just bled to death, but if Preem would have dropped him off at Marion Magdalene Hospital right around the block from the shooting, Just might have lived. 50 Cent felt the same way about Irv and Ja, Bags said, and he didn't get along with Preem either. So when 50 first came on the rap scene with songs dissing Irv and Ja, Preem put a hit on 50, and that's why 50 got shot up. Bags knew that Preem put a hit on him too for killing Black Just, but he said he was going to kill Preem first. Now I understand what Green Eyes was telling me and why Irv Gotti looked like he seen a ghost when I told him I was on the phone with Bags, and why Ja Rule was acting tough on that Limp Bizkit tour. I was thinking as Bags spoke. He figured he had Preem to protect him. At the end of 2001, I received my certified gold album plaque for HNIC. Havoc only produced 2 songs on the HNIC, not because I only wanted 2 beats. I was forced to find other producers because Havoc wasn't showing any excitement or enthusiasm about my solo project. I wish Hav would have done the whole album. Shortly after I got my gold plaque, Bags went to go check Havoc at Freeport. After the break-in, Hav's uncle, Lamik, gave Havoc 2 pit bulls, Black and Blaze. They ran loose in the yard and barked at all who passed by, especially mailmen and delivery people. We walked up to the gate surrounding the house, and the dogs went bananas, acting as if they wanted to kill Bags. They looked crazy. Hate and fury filled their faces, barking like never before. Bags couldn't even come inside the gate because I couldn't control them. And when Havoc came out, he couldn't either. Hav had never met Bags before, so he came to my truck and made small talk. We were in the area, so I just wanted to introduce them. Bags and I drove back to Queens, parked in front of Majesty's crib in Hollis. We sat in Bags' Navigator and played PlayStation for a while. I'm gonna come get you early in the morning so we can start working on that mix CD together, I said. Cool, he said. Call me when you get up.
July 13th, 2001. Across from a residential street in southeast Queens, a camera starts rolling. Prosecutors would later charge 2 people with making what investigators reportedly described as a surveillance tape. Dennis Crosby, known as Divine, and his girlfriend, who lived nearby. Both would eventually face the ultimate penalty. For 3 days, the tape watches Eric Smith live, driving the Navigator, parking it, July 13th, July 14th, July 15th, and July 16th. That evening, Eric Smith is at a neighborhood barbecue, sitting in his parked truck, when people allegedly walk up and shoot him 11 times at point-blank range. It was described as 40 shots fired by several men wearing white gloves. It's around 9:45 p.m. The tape's last recorded date is that same day. The camera stopped because the story it was telling was over. And then, a text message, presented as evidence in a courtroom years later, quoted by the prosecutor in his opening statement. After the killing, Kenneth McGriff allegedly messaged a friend 4 words: "You missed the party." Eric Smith left behind 8 children. One of them was born a month after his death, and the killing wasn't finished. In late October 2001, Troy Singleton, a close associate of Smith's, was gunned down in Queens, shot in the head at close range, then shot roughly 7 more times where he lay. The government would prove McGriff had him killed to head off retaliation for Eric's murder. The total price the court record attaches to both murders, $50,000. Which brings us back to Baltimore. Late August 2001, 6 weeks after the murder, that stash house raid turns up the tape sitting with the cash and the drugs. Now let's fix what the internet gets wrong, because you will find videos right now telling you the crew filmed the murder itself. The record says no such thing. The affidavit describes 3 days of surveillance footage, a man driving and parking, dated up to the day of the killing. A detective characterized it as preparation, and in fairness, the defense disputed even that. McGriff's then attorney said the tape was mostly innocent home video, a child, McGriff himself, brief shots of the rapper's vehicle. The courts would spend years sorting out whose story it was, but from the moment agents pressed play, Kenneth McGriff's second act was living on borrowed time, and so was Murder, Inc.
Die enormous and live dormant. This how we on it. Living the American dream with a vengeance. I'm gonna get it. I don't give a f. I'm gonna get it.
January 3rd, 2003. Federal investigators raid Murder, Inc.'s Manhattan offices. The theory, laid out in an agent's affidavit, that McGriff was the label's hidden hand and that drug money moved through its ventures, including $500,000 behind the crime partner's soundtrack.
This is this particular Murder, Inc. This is who they out-contract to. This is what they do. And you start picking them off.
I have bigger problems than just the hip-hop police. My name's Irv Gotti, boss of Murder INC.
That tape sat in a Baltimore stash house for 6 weeks before anyone found it. By the time they did, McGriff had already made his next move, the one that would eventually cost him a 30-year friendship that wasn't even his. At its peak, Murder, Inc. is not just a label. It is a movement, a cultural moment, a Queens-born machine that has figured out how to blend the street credibility of Ja Rule with the pop accessibility of Ashanti and sell it to the entire world simultaneously. And then Irv Gotti makes the move that changes everything. It is 2002. Jay-Z and Nas are in the middle of one of hip-hop's most documented beefs. Jay has dropped Takeover. Nas has dropped Ether. The whole industry has picked a side.
Just like me and Nas was brewing. Yeah. It didn't happen at the Summer Jam.
This is grown man B.I. Get you rolling the tree out, biatch. Your reach ain't long enough, buddy. Your piece ain't strong enough.
That happened. The Lex and TV sets the minimum.
Threats, I'm sending them. Lex with TV sets the minimum.
Whatever. It was a whole bunch of stuff leading up to that point.
It's never awkward when you're in a room with Nas. Cause that Ether Takeover beef with y'all wasn't light.
It was disrespectful.
Yeah, it was a time, and it was a moment in time that was a great moment for hip hop. But for us, you know, we really have a good relationship.
What is the myth leak? Slugs in your hat, right?
It was slugs in your hat. It was.
I can help you with that. You want beef? I can melt in your hat.
It was a bunch of like little things that led up to that point.
Lifestyle's written, so who you supposed to be? Play your position.
And then when it happened, I actually regret that because I really like Nas. He's a really nice guy.
he was saying put Nas on the record.
Oh, and Jay and Nas were beefing at the time.
Well, he just won. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's right after either. Yeah.
Well, who won that one to you?
Nas won.
Easy.
Yeah.
Why do we not remember that? Like,
because he just Nas won that battle.
It depends which records we.
That's crazy. It's called Ether and someone for a reason. It's not called whatever.
Takeover was way harder.
But nobody calls damn you really took him over.
Yeah,
you ethered him.
That ether, that shit that make your soul burn slow.
You got people there. Look. Who's best is to the actual, the fans' perception of the artist. Because if they're really passionate about you, then you're the best.
He left Rockefeller after that.
Yeah.
He said,
I rock hoes, y'all rock fellas.
Wait, we rock hoes, y'all rock fellas. And he's like, I think I got to buy Def Jam.
That was kind of
I
crazy.
need a new label.
Irv Gotti calls Jay-Z and asks for a meeting at Baseline Studios in New York. He has a business proposition. He wants to sign Nas to Murder, Inc.
I mean, I remember when Irv reached out about getting together, I thought it was a strange time to reach out because of their friendship. But I also knew that Irv was about making music and his passion was about doing great things. So when he brought the idea to me to do the label and stuff like that, after I sat and thought about it and wanted to see where it was at, I knew it had to rub Jay the wrong way. I was like, so Irv was telling me, they're going to talk and, because their relationship is having an issue now. So he want to, I was like, let me get the popcorn. You know what I'm saying? Let me see how y'all work that out. Y'all go work that out because they were boys. You know what I'm saying? They were brothers. So, him getting with me, of course, is going to make Jay think, oh, wow, they about to do this move on me. You know what I'm saying? But that was something that they had to handle.
According to his brother, Chris Gotti, who is in the room, Irv makes his case plainly. It is good business. They are going to make a lot of money. Jay-Z looks at him the way a man looks at someone who has just said something he cannot believe he's hearing. Jay-Z says, according to Chris, that it is fine, that he understands, that there is no beef. Irv believes him. Chris does not.
Jay pulled up when I first, one of the early times, he's one of the early niggas I seen with TVs and the headrests. And
it was like
coming he was like that. GS 300, pulling up, system banging.
Before the deal.
Cables on, gold fronts, all of that. That's all real. That's no fake shit. Jay, that's how I met Jay. He's on December 4th, on July 4th. We used to always say we on our square, you know what I'm saying? And fuck with each other from that. Again, my relationship's different than Irv.
Right.
I'm a protector. Jay's Irv's band. That means you my little bro.
Within months, Jay-Z was on tour with the man Murder, Inc. had spent years at war with. The government was about to make its own move, and this time it wasn't going after a friendship. It was going after the money.
OnPoint.
It is 6 a.m. on the first Friday of 2003. The offices of Murder, Inc. Records, one of the most commercially dominant labels in hip-hop, have not yet opened for the day. Federal agents and the New York Police Department arrive in force. They seize computers. They seize documents. They seize bank records. They freeze accounts.
This is this particular Murder, Inc. This is who they out-contract to. This is what they do. And you start picking them off.
I have bigger problems than just the hip-hop police. My name's Irv Gotti, boss of Murder INC.
When Irv Gotti arrives at the office that morning, federal investigators are already inside.
And it was all bullshit. It was all bullshit what they did to me so I wouldn't help Supreme fight his case. They knew I would have gave Preem the money for his lawyer to fight his case. So it was a chess move to destroy me and take all of my money. Okay? Everyone knows you could just, any idiot, forget the government, but any idiot could do the research and you could see how my rise. So everything I got is the Midas touch. They offer me a label deal. I get like $5 million. It's not Preem. Preem has nothing to do with none of this shit. Only thing he has to do with it is he's my friend.
He will fight the government for 2 years. He will spend $10 million in legal fees. He will be acquitted on every charge.
Jay pulled up when I first, one of the early times, he's one of the early niggas I seen with TVs and the headrests. And
it was like
coming he was like that. GS 300, pulling up, system banging.
Before the deal.
Cables on,
gold fronts, all of that. That's all real. That's no fake shit. Jay, that's how I met Jay. He's on December 4th, on July 4th. We used to always say we on our square, you know what I'm saying? And fuck with each other from that. Again, my relationship's different than Irv.
Right.
You know, I'm a protector. Jay's Irv's band. That means you my little bro.
Yeah.
And I protected him just like that. You know, I wish Jay would just speak about he's got so much with him. And I understand he's in a different place, different position. Cause he wouldn't want, but they was like this. It doesn't take nothing away from their relationship. It was, again, we was all together, right? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna use Murder Inc., Rough Riders, Rockefeller, Bad Boy. That was our East Coast gang. That was our family, right? All of that is family. We were running each other's sessions to hear what you making, to play what we got, and then discuss for family release dates. Stay clear, we're coming this day. Don't bring that over here, you're gonna be in trouble. You know, and that was very vital information. The rest of the industry doesn't know that, and we would slaughter the rest of the industry because of our release dates, the timing of it. But that's it's like insider trading information. We're insider trading. This is that kind of crime or offense. But so when you say that, but if you was on a record with whoever, it was not a friendly thing. I'm gonna kill you is the mindset.
The label survived the trial. McGriff never got the same chance because his case was never about a laundered dollar. In December 2005, a jury acquitted the Lorenzo brothers of every charge. Everyone. The government took its shot at Murder Inc. and missed. McGriff would stand trial alone. And the story didn't stop collecting its price. Irv Gotti beat the case and found out an acquittal is not an acquittal everywhere. Listen to what he says the industry told him afterward.
But you cannot forget the FBI, the feds, raided 825 8th Avenue, Universal Music Group. They're not gonna give you that while every party you go to with 20 killers.
I'm not gonna lie. Listen, let me tell you something.
To which I said.
Gotti,
to which I said.
To which he said.
To which I said.
I gotta relax.
I'm gonna have to figure out another way then, my nigga. Cause I ain't never gonna leave my niggas. I said here, watch this. Real niggas can relate. Real niggas can relate.
Talk that shit, Gotti.
Real niggas can relate. Watch this. Real niggas can relate. I'm gonna say some shit that real niggas can relate. Don't worry about it.
You gotta keep it up.
I'm gonna say some shit that real niggas can relate.
In our mind, we on ecstasy right now. In our mind.
Nah, I ain't on ecstasy.
In our mind.
If I was on ecstasy, I'd be like, ooh, this wood.
In our mind.
This fucking wood.
Let's go.
I'm gonna say some real shit.
Go.
Real niggas only can relate.
Go, nigga.
I told the man who told me this, I said, you trying to fuck with my sleep, nigga. I said, I sleep very good. I sleep so well. I said, nigga, if I was to do any disloyal shit to the niggas who have shown me nothing but love, honor, and respect, I said, my nigga, you gonna have me not being able to sleep. And I need my rest, because I go hard. Right. Real niggas could relate. My mother, Nene, who I love and worship, put her above God when I was going through the Fed shit. She said, Irv, just taking you away for 20 years, what about your kids? And it was her Nene and Poppy, and my mother and my father, and she was basically saying, tell the feds whatever the fuck, just get them away from you and off of you. I said, Nene, you trying to fuck with my sleep, Mom? You know what my pop said? Leave him alone. Our son is a man. Real shit.
How does a videotape made to end a man's life become the evidence that ends an empire? Like this, 3 days of silent footage, left carelessly in a stash house, told federal investigators that Eric Smith's murder wasn't street chaos. It was planned, patient, and paid for. 19 months of patience, $50,000, 11 shots, and a text message that treated a man's death like a party somebody missed. The tape didn't convict Kenneth McGriff by itself. It opened the door the government walked through, and it ended hip-hop's most dangerous open secret. the marriage between the streets that inspired the music and the business that sold it. After the tape, no label ever wore a drug legend on its sleeve the same way again.
Coming up, I heard sipping too much booze will leave you confused. And if you watch the news, you see players in this game that lose. I'm forgetting Lefty and Jazz, Pretty Tony and Lance, Head Luke, Mel Son, Trey and E-Money Bags. In a conversation over shrimp and lobster, and Benny Hines heard Chico stop boxing and started robbing diners. Shout out to Clemson, Clutch, Bob Dre, Black Will, and Flow don't kill you, the Mac will. Forgive me for I've said.
Two mothers stood in that courtroom. A jury heard both of them and chose life without parole. The only conviction anyone in this entire story would ever be handed for ordering a killing. Not the label, not the song, not the 9 bullets outside a house in South Jamaica. This, which leaves one question this film hasn't answered yet. What happened to everyone left standing?
You know, you did 34 years, man, and man, if that's not a deterrent for somebody, I can't imagine what is, man.
Yeah,
that's a lot of your life that you sacrificed.
Hey, Cam, let me tell you something. 34 years and 6 months. Don't even give me no shorts. I'm going to give it all to you, right? That is almost 35 years. That is a lot of time. I did more time than Nelson Mandela, except I did it for the wrong reasons. He was in there. He was a political prisoner. But my point is that is a lot of time to make you think and sit back and analyze the way you lived. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. But I don't mind speaking about the past because you got people today who really still think that lifestyle is the way to go, selling drugs. So I can tell you, back in our time when we were selling drugs, it was a little different. And we were selling and getting into that lifestyle, and it's not caked up to what people think it is. But at the same token, we did a lot of damage, but we also helped a lot of people.
To convict. McGriff would not be so fortunate. In January 2007, his case went to trial alone in Brooklyn court. Prosecutors said he paid $50,000 to have both men killed. The jury deliberated 5 days and convicted him of murder for hire and drug trafficking. Then came the question of whether he should die for it. The trial judge himself called the death penalty phase that followed an absurd use of time and money. Prosecutors pressed ahead anyway. One of the victim's mothers stood up in the courtroom and asked the jury not to execute the man convicted of ordering her son's murder. On February 9th, the jury split 9-3 in favor of life. Before marshals let him out, McGriff turned, waved to 3 rows of his own family, and tapped his chest above the heart. A month later, on March 9th, 2007, a federal judge formally sentenced Kenneth McGriff to life without the possibility of parole. By the time of his conviction, McGriff was the father of 8 children. They grew up with a version of him that most of the public never saw, not the man in court filings, but a father on visits and phone calls. One of those children grew up idolizing the man his father is accused of trying to have killed.
50 names comes up every time we talk about Supreme because they had like this.
Yeah.
They were their, like, you know what I'm saying, arch nemesis, rivals or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so how old are you now?
28.
So what age were you when you first started hearing about 50 Cent?
You were born in 95?
Yeah.
50 blows up in 2022. Or 2002, sorry. Yeah, 03, that time period.
8 years old. And I was a fan. Like, how can you not be... Like, I'm not a liar. I'm not going to get on nobody's camera or nobody's screen and lie. Like, he was the biggest... I'm from Queens. I'm from New York. He's the biggest thing moving. Like, I was a fan. Like, I had... Remember I told y'all I found out about who my dad was when I was like 12, 11, 12, 13?
So you were a 50 fan for a while before you
That's what I was about to say. Like, yo, I had posters of this guy. Like, I knew every word to every song. Like, my mother used to buy me the G-Unit sneakers. I was wearing the do-rags. Like, that was like, he was the person. I was a fan.
You didn't have the wife beaters with the striped
colored
all that.
Sleeves. I had all that.
No.
The G-Unit tank tops. The G-Unit tank tops. I had all that.
I had the shoes. I never had the tank top.
Like, bro, I'm telling you, like, I had his poster, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and then, like, could you imagine, like, me going through that shell shock? Like, me finding out my dad is, like, his arch... I'm like, yo.
So how did you find out? Like, what's the day like? I was like, all right, I can't fuck with 50 no more because of...
You said, how did I find out? What made me feel that way?
What made you feel like you can't be a fan, or how did you even find out?
Yeah, how did you find out?
How did I find out about their situation. I'm like
through the music, right?
Do the people in the neighborhood, like people telling me, people put me on, like
because if you keep listening to 50 Cent, you go back to his older stuff, you're gonna start like actually hearing tales and like hearing your dad's name.
That's
and
a fact.
Shit.
That's a fact. I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm not a fan anymore. Like, I mean, his music ain't good now, but like like a couple years ago, like maybe 2016, 2000. I don't have a problem with listening. I know how to separate the person from the art form. Right. His music, he went diamond twice. Like he doesn't make bad music. You feel me? But that I'm a fan of his music. I don't have to be a fan of him. I'm not saying I hate him either, because a lot of people always be like, yo, you hate 50, that's your op. I can't. I'm 28. He's 40 something years old. How can that be my op? That's not my op.
Kenneth McGriff Jr. says he had the posters. He had the sneakers, the do-rags, all of it, before he ever heard his own last name inside one of the songs. He says he still isn't going to pretend he hates the music. He just knows how to separate the artist from what the artist is accused of doing to his family.
And people forget though, but the main thing that people would hate on 54 when he first came out was because of songs like Ghetto Quran that basically took all this old ass street shit and put it into the music and told stories about your pops and whoever else. And people would call him a snitch for that. And 50's response was always, there are books out there that have all this information in it. So you can't say that I'm a snitch when all this shit is publicly available.
Well, I just feel like from my knowledge and what I know, I feel like 50 was just mad that my dad didn't want to take on him as an artist. Like, why are you dealing with Murder Inc. and Ja Rule and them, and you could be, I'm from your neighborhood, like, sign me, get me signed, mess with me. And my dad was with them. My dad's loyal, so he's gonna be with the people, he's gonna stay with the people he always been with. So I guess 50 was like, you know what, I'm gonna show you that I'm better than them, and I'm gonna murder them too while I'm doing it. I wanna prove to you, like, you should have been dealing with me the whole time. So it was kind of like he idolized, or he looked up to my dad, and he didn't really like that my dad didn't want to like embrace him. Like, come, let me stamp you. Like he stamped Ja Rule and he stamped Murder Inc. I think 50 wanted that too.
He's also got his own theory about how the beef actually started, one that complicates the story further. By his account, 50 was hurt that Supreme wouldn't take him on as an artist, not simply hostile toward him. His father stayed loyal to the people he was already with, and in his son's account, 50 spent the years trying to prove he never needed that endorsement in the first place. February 5th, 2025.
We actually created Rockefeller Records from nothing. And, you know, so I was forced to know both sides of the business.
Superstar Jay-Z is officially the first billionaire rapper.
I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one.
Problems that money ain't one. In fact, according to Forbes, the American's fortune is based on earnings from liquor, real estate, art, and, of course, music. Majority came from his stakes in Armand de Bourgogne champagne and a cognac as well, worth a combined $410 million. Born Sean Carter. It's been a long road to riches for Jay-Z, who grew up in a Brooklyn housing project.
Well, his wife, Beyonce, is no slouch either. She is reportedly worth about $335 million.
February 5th, 2025, Irv Gotti dies at 54 years old, a massive hemorrhagic stroke. He is playing poker with friends, eating Chinese food. His brother Chris says Irv never went to the doctor, never believed the diabetes diagnosis, went the way he wanted to go.
And I'm going to start by saying something that I tell my kids all the time. I tell them, everyone is born, we're all born, and we're all going to die. Nice. So in between, no, listen. So in between, we live.
Yes.
To the fullest.
Yes.
So that's what I think. So we live. I'm going to expand on the love by saying I love everybody in this motherfucker.
We love you too,
We love you too.
We love
I'm being honest. I love everybody in here.
We love you too.
You know, y'all know, Nene is special to me. And I know how I feel about Poppy. I know he's floating around.
Okay, so I wanted to know how Irv Gotti died. Like, what was
What happened?
Like what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so as of right now, there aren't confirmed reports of what happened, but yesterday when we talked about this in the room, we had said that it was reported that he had suffered a stroke and that he was on life support and kind of just fighting for his life. So I'm assuming, but I have not confirmed that is what happened. But I do know yesterday he passed away at age 54. Something like this, I think a lot of people are right now kind of taking the time to look back on his career and his accomplishments and things of that nature. So there was a lot of outpouring of love online. And of course, we know Irv Gotti. And for those who don't know, he is Murder Inc. He signed DMX to Def Jam. He EP'd DMX's first It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Ja Rule, Ashanti. He's worked with J-Lo, Jay-Z. He's done so much. He also
Mary J. Blige.
He's also across like movies and television. He had that deal with BT at one point where they did Tales, they did the Murder Inc. story. A culture storyteller and a person that has been cemented in hip hop culture for sure. So yesterday, you had a ton of people posting online. Jamie Foxx posted and said, "Rest in power, my brother. Your music, your legacy will never be forgotten. You spread a lot of love and a lot of wisdom to everyone that you met." Russell Simmons posted again and said, "Don't let his tragedy and his death go in vain." He's speaking to black men and women, saying, care about your health, go get checked up. He was talented, he was beautiful, he was curious, enthusiastic.
2 weeks later, the funeral is held at the Greater Allen Cathedral in Jamaica, Queens, the neighborhood he came from, the borough that made him. Ja Rule gives the eulogy. He chokes up. He tells Irv he loves him. He tells him he will see him when he gets there.
My other family, Nene, love you, Nene. I know this is tough for you too. He's home now, he's with Bobby. This is my brother, like Chris said, it's the biggest honor you give somebody who's not your blood brother to say they're your brother. And let me take these glasses off. He deserves that respect. We started this journey together a long time ago. It changed my life.
General. No. Look, good inspiration. See, no, the rest was wrong, baby. You was done it. You don't mind.
Gotcha.
2 men, 30 years of brotherhood, one decision that cracked it, another decision that answered it, and a legal case that cost Irv everything, except the one thing neither the government nor the industry could take from him, his name. He built it, he protected it, and he admitted, publicly, repeatedly, with no excuses, every mistake he made along the way. That is rare in this industry. That is rarer than a #1 record. But here is the question only you can answer. Irv Gotti admitted his part. He called the Nas move one of the biggest mistakes of his life. He said he should have thought about his brother Jay. Did Jay-Z's response, the 50 Cent alliance, the tour, the commercials, go too far, or was that just business too?
It's one of my biggest regrets is trying to sign Nas. Nas is my man and Nas my friend, and this is no disrespect to him, but Jay was like I've known Jay since '87. Mm-hmm. With me, when I did that, it caused a great strain with me and Jay. Mm-hmm. And rightfully so. And I shouldn't have did that. I should have held my friendship in a bigger regard than what I did with trying to sign. Like I made Super Ugly. And 2 months after Super Ugly, Nas is in the studio making the pledge and I'm trying to, sign Nas. So it was a bit, that's something I regret. If I could tell young Irv, I would be like, don't do it. Just keep Nas as your friend, but don't do that.
February 5th, 2025.
Real men move in silence. He had a choice, me or the net. He made his choice. And until he forsakes the clown show, which is the internet, I will never speak or associate with him, especially when he makes veiled threats, talking about we. Who is we? Prince and myself do not promote threats or violence. We different. We are masters of self-defense. If you ain't talking about positivity or growth and goals, keep your mouth shut. That goes for everybody. Rest in peace, little bro. And mourn in peace the entire Lorenzo family. If a person refuses to learn, leave that
In a recorded
person
call from
alone.
prison, McGriff addressed his son's public fighting directly and disowned the behavior, not the son. He said men don't argue behind a microphone on the internet. He said real men move in silence. And in the same call, he turned to a different loss entirely. Sending peace to the family of a man who had died 3 months earlier, Irv Gotti.
But let me ask you a question, right? One of the biggest clothing lines in the world.
I got my shit. Somebody passing my bag too. I got my shit too.
What, you wear Supreme?
Finish what you was going. No. Finish what you was going to say.
Okay, well, one of the biggest clothing lines in the world is called Supreme.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
we need a cut. By the way,
there was a Supreme in Brooklyn.
Yeah, you need a cut.
But me, there he got it. He's on point.
Just one.
There's a Supreme in Brooklyn, but you know, for us, for us from Queens, we only know one Supreme.
That's a fact. Right.
That's it. And I actually did great business with Supreme, but I've always wondered how the Supreme feel about Supreme.
Is a very
I love your positivity.
No. Honestly, Supreme.
Are you guys in contact with Supreme? And I want to say that.
That's his.
And don't gotta throw me the alley.
That's his lineage right there.
I was able to actually do a collaboration.
That's right.
Right, that press, man.
Listen,
I could never access none of the Supreme clothing.
No, he's talking about the clothing brand. He's talking about the clothing brand.
What I'm saying is the clothing.
The cultural influence.
It's no way. Like I said, the people from Iraq, I was playing around earlier, but I did meet them, and I did realize that they did not acknowledge me at all, right? So I
But your cup running.
So how did that deal happen?
Yo, you know how many bootleg records I see of your shit?
Of course. But that's not the point.
No, but hold up. But how did that, like, if they didn't know about you guys, how did that deal happen then?
I don't know, but I know it was through Virgil. And Virgil.
Oh, Virgil connected that.
Yes, and Virgil was actually a cool dude to me. Like, I kid you not. Me and him, he was gonna design my fucking wedding. I promise you. Like, he like, I have the pictures of it, me and Fat Joe.
Yo, shout out to wifey. She doing the juice thing, right?
You know, she got the juice bar already. Yeah,
yo,
we lit. Come through.
You know what? You need to approach them regardless.
And no gotta connect me with them.
Regardless.
And no gotta connect me with them.
I cannot lie to you.
I've been trying to do that
without thinking that they stole it, but go in and get something from it.
I've been trying to get connected with them for 3.5, 4 years. I love that brand though, and it would be so big for the culture, for hip hop, for everything, for the world. It would be big. It would be big for everything.
25 years after the label's biggest fight was Murder Inc. versus 50 Cent, McGriff's own son wants something else entirely. He says he's been trying for years to get the Supreme streetwear brand, the biggest clothing line to ever borrow his family's nickname, to do right by the name it took. It's his son's mission of a legacy to fight for, not the empire, not the case, not even the man himself, but a logo on a hooded sweatshirt that happens to share his father's name. But it is, in its own small way, one more version of the same fight this entire family keeps having, trying to get something legitimate out of a story that has only ever cost them. Which brings this back to the call that opened the video. The whole objective, McGriff said, was to exit the game. By any measure, he was handed real exits, a screenwriter credit on an actual film, a nephew who says he helped hand Murder Inc. its next star, and 20 years later, an Emmy-nominated documentary that let him tell it all himself, directed by one of the most respected men in hip-hop. Ask yourself why none of those exits ever actually worked. It wasn't bad luck. A screenwriter credit doesn't erase a federal indictment. A nephew's loyalty doesn't undo a jury's verdict. And a documentary, even a great one, can only tell people what happened. It cannot go back and change what it said he actually did. Every legitimate door he was offered opened onto the same locked room. He never got to walk through any of them as himself. The label he attached himself to won its case and still couldn't shake his name. The rapper he's accused of trying to kill became one of the biggest artists alive, telling his own version of this story to millions. The film he wrote got made and nobody remembers it. The documentary that finally told his side on his terms only exists because he has a difficult path to coming home to see what it changed. And the exit McGriff describes on a prison phone in a documentary about his own life is the only one he ever actually reached. It isn't an exit at all. He is a man his own nephew still calls the boss, and a man his own son still calls one of the biggest hustlers the industry ever produced. He is also, by his own account, a man who spent his whole life trying to get out and ran out of ways to prove it before anyone believed him. The label survives the trial and loses everything else anyway. 9 bullets outside a house in South Jamaica in May 2000. A label raided him on a Friday in January 2003. 2 men from the same Queens blocks. 2 outcomes that couldn't be further apart. The only thing nobody's ever fully answered is the question that started all of it. How much of what topped the charts in those years was ever really separate from where some of that money was alleged to come from? 25 years later, nobody in this story has stopped arguing about it. In October of 2025, Kenneth McGriff's own camp released a film of their own, his voice from prison, denying all of it, calling the allegation fabricated. A longer version followed less than a week before this film did. His son is still online, still naming names. 50 Cent is still naming his back. Federal investigators once even asked whether this same case reached as far as the still unsolved murder of Jam Master Jay. No charge ever came of that. 2 empires, 6 blocks of Queens. 1 man dead, 1 man serving life for a murder that isn't the one that made him famous. You heard it at the very start of this video. Whatever else you say about Kenneth McGriff, the man never pretended to be something he wasn't. 25 years later, that might be the only thing everyone in this story still agrees on. Not what he did, not who he allegedly shot, not who he saved, just that he was exactly what he showed people he was. Everything else is still open.